Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Gridiron Bangahz. I'm Jake, and as always, joined by the same crew, Brandon and Bryson. How's it, guys?
That's it.
How's it?
Yeah, so we just wrapped up the Super Bowl, which means we're officially in the off season. But give a congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs being the Niners and sending them home packing. So yeah, I know we were all rooting for the Chiefs, right?
Leaning toward them. Wouldn't say really rooting.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
I was
right.
just rooting against the Niners. So I guess, yeah, by affiliation.
Yeah, that's your guys' rival. Brandon don't want to see the Niners get six, and yeah, I think I'm in the same boat as Bryson. I just don't tired of the Niners.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I guess let's get into it. Chiefs are officially a dynasty, winning three in five years, right? 3 in 5 years. Yeah, we're officially into the next dynasty, the Mahomes era. So I'll throw it over to you, Bryson, since you got that card that's gonna be, giving you a fortune one day. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, no, I mean, it was a good game. Definitely had fun watching it. Uh, Pretty good. I felt like it was a good contest. Really good defensive game. Both sides, both teams were, making big plays, getting big stops. So not the big high scoring, onslaught that maybe some people were expecting, but we knew these defenses were, top notch. Obviously, the Niners defense was kind of the standard really for the league, and then Chiefs defense, their secondary was pretty elite. I'd say was kind of their the biggest factor. That secondary coming in, and even the defensive line, and in general, this defense was the best defense they've had, really in the last 4 years. So I personally thought it was a pretty fairly called game, at least from the refs. I know both sides were kind of getting away with a lot. I know all the talk right now on social media is just, Chiefs and refs and, the
Holding.
holding call haven't been called a holding. I will say a lot of like the videos that they're putting out as like the blatant holds. Um, that one where Bosa does the spin move and the guy kind of just wraps him. I personally didn't think that was really much of a hold. I think if you look at the clip, you watch on the other side, the left tackle does that same type of wrap and, kind of gets at the shoulders, at the shoulder pads of the defender. And it looked like he was trying to do the same thing, and Bosa just gave his back to him. So he kind of like to me, it looked like he was definitely like surprised by the spin and wasn't ready for it, and so it kind of threw him off. But I don't think he intentionally was trying to like do a wrap. I think he was genuinely because you could watch him and the left tackle both did the exact type of like they swung their arms out to go up into the shoulder pads, and just Bosa spun and gave him his back. So um,
Yeah, Bosa kind
I
of
know that's
stopped, right?
yeah, and Bosa spun and then just kind of like in the spin just kind of stopped his momentum there. Maybe it was from getting wrapped up a little bit, but I don't know. To me, I felt like that, and that was the one that a lot of people are everybody's reposting, and they're like, oh, look at this blatant hold. I mean, most of these people that are posting it don't really watch football, don't really know football that well. They're just like, oh, Chiefs got away with this, blah blah blah. So I personally didn't think it was like as bad as people are making it out to be. I do think there were some that they did get away with, but I'll say that there were some that the Niners got away with too. And it just didn't really feel like a heavy like the refs were just way on the Chiefs, favoring the Chiefs as much as maybe as they were last year on some of the calls against the Eagles. So yeah, I definitely I'll give you those. They did get some favorable calls, but I definitely think the refs played a pretty clean, fair game. Like that McCaffrey touchdown should have been called back. So it goes both ways. You gotta, if you're gonna give the Chiefs flack for getting away with some, you gotta, 49ers fans gotta be able to take it that your team got away with some too. So it goes both ways. And then I will say the one thing that I'm a little disappointed in is Kyle Shanahan. I think a lot of people are not going to kind of hold him accountable for this game. I think it was defensively, it was great, but a lot of the play calls were a little questionable. And then the fact that like the Chiefs were, all the talks, the Chiefs were prepared, knew the overtime rules, knew what they wanted. They wanted the Niners to start with the ball, and like we're hearing all this talk that most of the Niners players didn't know the overtime rules, didn't know that the Chiefs were going to get the ball regardless of if they scored the touchdown. So to hear that is just really embarrassing. Um, I feel like he should be embarrassed that he mentioned that it wasn't part of their game plan. They didn't talk about it, and that you can't do that as a coach. You got to prepare for every scenario, every type of situation. The Chiefs are the type of team they'll take it to the wire. Their history in the overtime, especially with the Bills, and that like the league has been hearing it from teams that they wanted to change the overtime rules. So you cannot make that mistake of not having your team mentally prepared for that. So I think a lot of this one's on Kyle Shanahan. Um, to me, Niners kind of bit themselves in the foot. I know they took a lot of injuries. Tough to see Greenlaw. That's such a horrible injury. That's such a tough one, man.
Just horrible out.
That's the worst way. I will say that was a huge impact on the game. I mean, we know what Fred Warner does, but like the synergy between him and Greenlaw when they're both going at these guys, they just kind of bounce off of each other's energy, and you could tell that just mentally they felt defeated with Greenlaw being out because I'm sure that's Fred Warner's boy, and they're the kind of the heart of that defense, and you could see the plays Greenlaw was making. He was, every tackle for loss, every big stop, he was getting hype. He was, revving up the guys, and yeah, not having his presence on the field definitely made a big impact. But yeah, gotta give credit to Mahomes. Does Mahomes things. Gotta give credit to Pacheco. Didn't look like a lot, but he definitely got what they needed from him. And receivers stepped up. McCole Hardman, big plays. Even Valdez Scantling had some big ones. Kelsey, a little quiet, but he kind of has that just aura on the field where they focus him a lot. And kind of, I felt like the Niners just put all their eggs in one basket, trying to focus on Kelsey and just let kind of the rest of the team just cook them. So I think a lot of this one's on Kyle Shanahan, in my opinion.
Or give take my take. I think great game. I mean, at least personally, I feel like this was kind of one of the best Super Bowls I kind of ever watched. I felt like you kind of got a little bit of everything. Definitely top five around there. But you got a little bit of everything. First half, you got great defense. We saw both low scoring games from both sides. Mahomes pretty much almost barely touched the ball in that first half. So you got to see it going. Huge turnovers, game changing from Mahomes, Pacheco, even Christian McCaffrey, guys we don't usually see have these kind of big impact plays in the negative sense. And then even got some special teams. I mean, special teams was huge in this game. I mean, Chiefs scored off of the one fumble on the punt return. Won't put that on my boy Ray McLeod. He definitely try to save it. Just hit that guy in the ankle. So you just got to try and make a play. So don't blame him.
It was
And then,
tough.
yeah, it was real tough. Got
I think he
big.
should have dove on it.
He definitely should have dove on it, but it was
Yeah.
kind of flying at him because it got hit in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
ankle.
No, I
So
mean,
I get he didn't, but yeah,
I get it. Yeah.
ideally, you looking back, he probably even
Yeah.
I
No.
probably should have just went for it, but saw Lane probably try to turn nothing into something. But yeah, we saw great special teams. I mean, longest two of the longest field goal kicks in NFL history. Even their punters, that one boot, I think they were at like their own 30, and he pretty much almost downed it in the 10. It was crazy. We just saw the impact of special teams, and yeah, it was a great game. We got overtime, almost took it to double overtime. So I don't know. I couldn't have asked more from this game. Great game by both sides. Like you said, I don't blame Shanahan too much. I think he did have a little bit in it. I know some players are kind of backing up. They're like, we talked about it during the week, but I don't think it matters too much. I mean, at the end of the day, your offense, you're trying to score the ball. You're in overtime, you want a touchdown. Defense, obviously, you don't want them scoring. So I don't know what changes in their game plan if they knew. You kind of already know it's even if you thought it was in regular season, you think it's kind of. I mean, you know what the postseason rules were, so I don't know why you looked at it differently because it was the Super Bowl. It's still part of the postseason. We changed this rule because of your guys' last game. Oh, not there. It was the Chiefs game, but the Niners. I feel like there's not much that would have changed with that. But great games by both sides. I thought both teams played really well. Just Chiefs got the lucky break with the blocked extra point, the fumble, and then, like you said, first Dre Greenlaw, phenomenal first start or first half of the game, and yeah, you could tell kind of took the wind out of them because they were pretty much celebrating after every hit on defense. You saw kind of the energy they brought to start the game, and yeah, it was just tough seeing that, especially just, I mean, no one expected it. We come back from commercial break, and then announcers are like, we got some big news. And I'm like, what happens before a play starts? And yeah, just trying to run on the field, and unfortunately tears his Achilles, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so rough break. Great game of the Niners, but yeah, Mahomes is Mahomes. The reason why we did not count him out of the Super Bowl, he just continues to prove his legacy. I mean, yeah, like you said, we are pretty much in the Mahomes dynasty. It's kind of why I was cheering for the Chiefs. I kind of wanted the dynasty. I'm still a Brady hater, so I have him above Brady now after the Super Bowl win. I, I think the man's done enough already, in my
Oh
opinion.
my goodness.
I don't. He's better than Brady in my opinion. But, yeah,
I'm not gonna comment on that.
Well,
I don't know what you. Besides the Super Bowls, I think Mahomes looks better in every asset of the game.
we'll get into that. I think that should be just for itself. Just you embracing on that. I might have a little say in this one, but I think this is going to be you two just front running both sides.
We'll get into that later.
I mean, I get it, but like at the same time, also like
Do we want to
not
get into
yet.
it now?
I'm not saying he won't be there, but I'm
Yeah,
just saying not right now.
No. I'm saying he's there. He is the guy.
Okay.
I'm in the same boat as Bryson. I think he can't get there. I'm not going to say right now. Actually, I think he will get there. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, I can agree to that he will get there. Just yeah, just a little too early to be saying it.
It is not too early. This man has been 4 out of the 5 Super Bowls in his career. Missed it once. Has won 3 now. He doesn't take pay cuts like Brady does. His defense was great. We were talking about it all season, but none of this defense compares to what Brady had. None of the weapons, nothing compares to what Brady had. Brady had Hall of Famers around him. They brought in him out. I mean, we can bring up the list. We had Randy Moss. I mean, Kelsey kind of cancel out. We had Randy Moss. We had Darrell Revis. They brought in some other great defense players. I just who's like that on the defensive side? Chris Jones, great, amazing player, but I don't even put him at the top of his own position. I think he's borderline that like superstardom that we talk about with like the Miles Garrett's, the TJ Watts, but I think he's still a class below that. But Mahomes still figures out ways to win. And with, I mean, Brady had what 1 year with a cast of bad receivers like this. Like, I think other than that, most of his Super Bowls came from great receiving cores.
I wouldn't say that. I mean,
I
good,
can only
not great, not as bad as his Chiefs one. Yeah.
this, yeah, and he's done it twice. With don't, I mean, we're gonna say Juju is much better from last year. No,
That's the one
not
thing
really.
I can't fathom how I know they have Kelsey. I just can't fathom how he just won back-to-back Super Bowls with guys like MVS, Rasheed Rice, he's coming into his own. I get it, but he's a rookie.
I think
Um,
Rice deserves a little credit. I think
no, I like him, but I mean, still,
I
like,
agree.
he's a rookie receiver. You got MVS, you got who's the one that Miko Hardman,
Hartman.
Kadarius Tony. I don't even play this game, but he was involved in the last Super Bowl. Do you get what I mean? Get these guys all played a role and they won a Super Bowl with them. So I can't understand.
And that's what I'm saying. He's on with so much less, in my opinion. I don't know. I have him as the goat already. I'm also a Brady hater, being a Steelers fan, but I
Well, you
I think he's taking the top. He retires today. I have him at number 1. That's all I have to say.
All right.
how about we maybe next week if you guys want to start the first debate, we'll do that. At 28 years old, Mahomes versus end of career Brady. Sorry.
Give me Mahomes. Martian pointing the laser beam at Earth. Last throw on the line. Give
Oh
me
my
Mahomes.
gosh.
Give me
You're
Mahomes. I've
so
seen it too many times. 2 minutes left in overtime or before the game ended. I saw Mahomes with the ball and I looked at the Niners and I was like, this is not where you want to be.
I
I've seen him do this
yeah,
numerous times.
I agree with you. I never once doubted it. They were down 10. I was like, You're fine.
No. And he barely even was on the off. Like he probably was on the field for like 8 minutes in the first half, and I was like, still Mahomes. All he needs is a half to finish a game, and he did it.
Yeah, so let me diverge into one of the topics you guys are talking about. So, yeah, like you said, the first half, I mean, the Niners defense was shutting them out, right? Pretty much until they got the field goal touchdown. I can't remember, sorry. When they first scored, basically, they were shutting them out. Defense was playing a hell of a game, and second half, yeah, that Niners defense just they got torched, basically to the point where uh, I don't know if this played into it, but this is what it sounded like, at least to Kyle Shanahan, where he didn't want to leave them on the field. I want to kind of get your guys' thoughts on him taking the ball first, whether or not that was, you guys are going to put the blame on him for that. Because for me, I mean, I think he had a pretty good game, not the best. He probably should have been able to take advantage with his defense, shutting down Mahomes the first half. Only put up 10 points, 19 points at the end of the day. I put that on him, but the game management stuff, like taking the ball first, not explaining the rules to his team, right, for the overtime rules, that I definitely put on him. And I feel like if you're going to take the ball first, you probably should have gone for the touchdown, maybe even for the 2 pointer if you made it. But they settled for a field goal, so I don't know. I kind of want to, see what you guys think on that.
Want me to go first? Sure.
Go ahead.
All right. Um, I mean, I've already said it. I put this one on Shanahan. Look, at the end of the day, I look at the context, right? You're playing the Chiefs. You're playing Patrick Mahomes, right? You know the track record of Mahomes in the playoffs. You've seen him take a drive with 13 seconds left, get his team into field goal range to tie a game, take it into overtime, and then he wins in overtime, right? And he's the reason why the league has even gone into changing the overtime rules was because of him. So you look at the context that you know that overtime, you give the ball to Mahomes under 2 minutes left, and he doesn't even need timeouts, but I'm pretty sure they had two. Um, like you got to understand that this Patrick Mahomes we're talking about, he's gonna take his team to where they need to be. You just watched him take a drive to a field goal to take it to overtime to begin with. I mean, I don't hate the decision to take the ball. I don't think it. I don't know. It's tough because the way I look at it, I mean, you look at the clips, you look at like the mic'd up moments. The Chiefs wanted them to have the ball, and that tells you something, right? That they wanted them to have the ball. They got what they wanted. They wanted them to start, and then they wanted to take their drive and play off of whatever the Niners did, right? Um, Now the fact that like there were even like players on the field that didn't know the rules is concerning because that's like a mentality thing to me, right? If you're under the assumption that the other team doesn't get the ball back, right, you get complacent because you assume that you don't need to score a touchdown, and they get into field goal range, then that mentality kicks in of where okay, we're still safe, we could still kick a field goal here, we don't need to score, right? And so to me that's like I don't know. That's got to be something that has to be addressed. Your players have to know the rules of the game, especially. I mean, this is the Super Bowl we're talking about. We're not talking about like regular season. We're not even talking about like early round playoffs. This is the Super Bowl. You made it this far, and you're telling me that your players don't know the rules of overtime. So, to me, I mean, at the end of the day, like he can only coach so much. The players got to make the plays, but it starts with the coaching. So yeah, just a little disappointing from that. I mean, you could tell that the Chiefs just felt like they had this one. They felt like it was their game to lose, and they felt like they got what they wanted at overtime, and they were kind of in control of everything from the get go. So it was just kind of they played a great game, like we said. They played a great first half. Defense was dominating, and then things just kind of started falling apart. The Mahomes just chipping away slowly but surely. And this is, like I said, we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, right? This isn't just your run of the mill quarterback, you know, not just a system quarterback who got there with his team off of his team's plays. This is Mahomes. He's the playmaker. He's going to do what the team needs him to do. He's going to make the plays that the team needs him to make the plays, and he did it. So, yeah, I think it's a little, yeah, just kind of fell apart. Starts with the coaching, in my opinion. So, at the end of the day, is it Shanahan's fault? Maybe, maybe not. But to me, I felt like if he had done what he was supposed to do, then there'd be no reason for me to doubt. Like I wouldn't be able to pin it on him. But I feel like I can. So
Yeah, I'm gonna totally disagree with you on that one. I thought Shanahan had a phenomenal game. I thought he made the right call on receiving the ball. I mean, we're talking about small difference. I mean, the one upside, I think the biggest upside you get from, I mean, getting the ball second was you get to use all your downs because you know you got to score. We saw it. Mahomes got to fourth down. I think maybe one. I know he did once. I don't know about twice, but they had to go
I
for it
think it
because
was
you know you had
once.
the game. Yeah, I think it was just once, but
Yeah.
you get to use all your downs. But I like the play call. I mean, we literally just saw like Chiefs Mahomes got the ball with 2 minutes left, and what he do? Pretty much got in field goal range in like what, under 30 seconds. Was real quick. They were already in scoring position. You just saw your defense get carved up. They've giving it their all to kind of end the game there. So I get you want to give them a break, kind of regroup, figure out how to stop them. And I mean, I thought it was the right play call. I mean, if they score a touchdown, I think the Niners win this game because I mean their offense was moving the whole game. We saw Christian McCaffrey phenomenal game, and even Brock Purdy. I mean, hats off to him. I thought he had a great game. Missed a few throws. Some of them you can blame on Chris Jones, but you scored the touchdown there. Mahomes scores the touchdown. Niners, all they got to do is kick a field goal. And with the way they've been moving the ball, I think they would have won it. It was just unfortunate. Chris Jones made the big play, kind of stopped the touchdown because I think it was IQ or one of the receivers wide open. Just Purdy
I
overthrew
mean,
it
yeah, he had
because,
Ayuk and Jennings open. Yeah.
yeah, both of them open. Just unfortunate Chris Jones didn't get blocked and ended up sabotaging that play. But I like the call. I mean, the roles flip. They both score a touchdown and Mahomes gets the ball next. You're not winning. Mahomes is going to win that game. So I like the faith he had in his offense. I mean, they proved they deserved it that game. So I like the call, but like I said, just unfortunate they couldn't get that touchdown at the end because I think they would have won the game if they scored there because you know Mahomes was scoring, and after that it's next score win. So you just had to get in the field goal range. So I like the call. I had no problems with any of Shanahan's call. I think the biggest call, at least playmaker or play caller, the problem was their defensive coordinator, and it kind of shows what happened after the Super Bowl with him. So I don't know. I had no problem with Shanahan. And for the players, I mean, they put it on the big board what the rules were. So I don't know why they came out with excuses, even if they weren't prepped for it. There's not much prepping to do. Each team gets the ball unless it's a safety, and after that, it's sudden death. It's pretty easy to explain. It's pretty easy to know, and so I don't know. I think the Niners were just very salty because I mean, perfect game, just unfortunate breaks.
Kind of, kind of agree with you. Kind of don't. It's I mean, like I said, you have this offense with Debo. I mean, obviously we don't like Debo, but people praise Debo. They got IU, they got Kittle, they got McCaffrey. You only put up 19 points against the Chiefs, and Purdy played a good game. I say great because some of those misses were vital to the game, and Super Bowl every play counts. It's that type of game, right? And like Chris Jones put on the pressure, and but he at the end of the day they couldn't complete it. Same thing with the Jimmy G thing, except I think Jimmy G didn't really have as much pressure in his face, but you get the point. But yeah, he went for it on fourth down, which I gave him props because I was saying it out loud, like, "Oh, he's gonna kick a field goal," and then going for it on fourth down led to a touchdown. So I was like, "Oh, all right, maybe he's finally gonna get a little bit aggressive." And then overtime came, and I think if he was to take the ball first, that's I don't know. Let's say if he was to take the ball first, like I said, he should have went for the touchdown, maybe for a 2 point conversion. If he's
Dan Campbell would have went for it.
if his if his reasoning is, oh, we want the ball third, then you're supposed to go for a touchdown, knowing who's who's waiting on the sideline. So that part I kind of I gonna put blame on him because he was too conservative once again.
Yeah,
I,
I agree with
I don't
that.
know. I don't know if I would go for it though. I mean, yeah, you're on the goal
You have to.
line, but you don't.
I
I mean,
mean,
we said your defense was making plays.
Yeah, but
I'm not
well,
gonna trust my defense.
your defense was gassed though at that point. It just got
Yeah, because
shredded.
you got the break.
yeah. So
They
I
took
mean,
they drove
I
the ball.
agree both ways because I agree with you that I didn't hate the call that he chose to receive it, but I agree with Jake that like if you're taking the ball first, you know who you're playing against. You like why would you put your team in a situation, or not your team, but why would you give Mahomes a situation to like win the
Walk
game?
off. Yeah.
Because if he to score a walk off, right? Now if he scores a touchdown, right, that eliminates the walk off for Mahomes, and then it puts your team in a walk off position, right? It forces them to have to score, and then they can get the third possession and win after that. So that's where I agree. I didn't disagree with the receiving, like taking the ball first, because obviously, I mean, it could go both ways, right? Like Mahomes could have scored a touchdown, then they would score a touchdown, and then Mahomes gets them to a field goal, right? So it goes both ways. So I think it wasn't a bad decision to take the ball, but I think it was a bad decision to leave the game in Mahomes' hands to win the game, because we know what Mahomes does.
I I can't. I mean, I get it. I get the viewpoint you guys have. It makes sense, but I like we said, their defense was the best part of their team. Yes, you got Gash, but I can trust my defense, or hopefully put trust in my defense to at least hold Mahomes to a field goal. You don't get that, it's pretty much over. When you're not stopping Mahomes from kicking a field goal, the kicker just hit a 57, the longest in NFL history. Like you don't score that, the game's over there. At least give your team a chance. Like you don't score that, your defense. I mean, it's hard to even go out there at that point. Just the confidence that like we can't even give them 30 yards or the game's over. So I get where you want to like make it go to that third possession because then you have the advantage, but I I it's too risky of a call. I mean, if you just gotta hope your defense plays great enough. Sadly, they didn't, but I get the mindset, but I feel like it's too risky. I mean, maybe that's what you gotta do in the Super Bowl, but I kind of was fine with the field goal because I mean, you almost stopped Mahomes. You put him on a fourth down, just they had to go for it. So and he got it. So they were both
Yeah,
trying to
I
get
don't
it.
think that was necessarily the defense. I think that's just the Chiefs are, they know they're using all their downs, so they're not forcing, trying to
Yeah.
get first on third. So,
I get it.
yes and no.
Just need one drop, one hold anywhere in the red zone, and I mean that's can stall out his
Yeah.
drive. Usually not with Mahomes,
I
but
I do think the announcers, I don't know if it was Roma or the other guy that pointed it
So
out, but um the fact that with the game on the line, fourth down, they didn't, you know, plan for Mahomes having the ball in his hand. Because you watch Bosa just commit to Pacheco so hard on that option read. So yeah,
yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah, you gotta know at that point. Mahomes is
yeah.
gonna
At that
be
point,
all over
the
him.
ball will be in his hands. Because you just watch Pacheco. I mean,
Get
he
stuff.
he didn't have a horrible game, but yeah, he was getting stuffed a few times. So if there was any doubt that it was going to either going to be in Mahomes' hand going to Kelsey, it's some variation of that. So
well, we'll find out. I guess let me pose this question to you guys. Seeing that he keeps falling short, I'm gonna make this comparison because it kind of is true at this point. He is I'm not gonna say this generation. He's the new Andy Reid, where he's the Super Bowl play caller. Can that drop anything, can score at will, but his game management lacks a lot. Lacks in game management. That's kind of what it is. Even if we're not pointing to this game, he can point to his other games. He lacks game management skills, whether it's the timeouts or just getting his team prepared, or having his players just whine and complain. Because I point that back to him. Do you guys see him winning a Super Bowl in the next few years? He's always short, but what do you guys think?
I'm gonna say no. I don't. I mean, I don't think he's a bad coach, but the record shows he's just can't get that win, the one that he needs the most.
God, I'm sounding like a Niners fan, but I think he finally gets one. I mean, yeah, we can talk about play bad management. I think the biggest one of his career was probably that Falcons game. I mean, just being up so much, and then yeah, they definitely could have had some different play calls, especially with the Julio Jones and how that game went. But I think he's gonna win one. I mean, look who he played. He played pretty much the generational talent of the best in the league at the time. One against Brady, two against Mahomes. It's just unfortunate that you got to keep going against these top quarterbacks. But I mean, they have a complete team. Their NFC is not great. He's probably going to continue making it at least close to that game. And I mean, we saw like with Bryson's Rams, you can get lucky and not face Mahomes. And that's
Yeah.
kind of the one time the NFC's won in the past few years is when Mahomes isn't there. So can't make it every year. Kind of scared to say that because he does have the potential to make it every year, but I think one of these he will get right. I mean, his team's set up perfectly still. They think he still has a chance. I mean, just unfortunate. You just go against the best in history pretty much in the three Super Bowls you're in.
Well, I'm gonna say he ain't going next year because he's suffering a hangover. So yeah, it's definitely a no next year. Hangover is real. Yeah, it
Hangover is
is.
real, but it only happens to one team,
No, it happens to every team unless you're Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. It happens to every team.
not every team, but it's usually one team. And I've said
One
this to
team.
my friend. The Chiefs have been very luckily healthy since the whole Mahomes era.
Yeah.
And the three-peat's really
That's
hard to
true.
do. So I would put money into on the Niners, but I won't say for certain that it's going to be the Niners with the Super Bowl hang up.
No, I'm telling you right now, it's the losers always have a hangover. Something always goes wrong. Obviously, we started 10-1, complete downfall after that stretch. Put it on whatever you want, but it happened. It happened. It happens to everybody unless you're Brady or Mahomes. You have a Super Bowl under your belt, then you can recover from that real quick. But if not, you're not. You're gonna have the hangover, and it's looks like it might be starting. I don't know. There's that one old lineman admitting he was hungover or something, and then
And
what was it?
then I
Yeah,
think I
and
would
then
drink myself to sleep after that game too if I was a Niners player. So
Yeah.
I don't blame him.
yeah, and then find their defensive coordinator. So I don't know. We'll see. I
Rumors with Ayuk.
that too. Forgot about that. See, I mean, I don't know. I don't know whether I believe that one or not. It seems like their family is just pissed. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Players are getting older. Uh,
Well, would it would be great for me if the 49ers never sniffed the playoffs again.
well, I'll tell you this: they're
I
not
would love it.
winning. Kyle Shanahan's not winning Super Bowl in San Fran. That's, like you say, that's my hot take. My hot take: Kyle Shanahan's never won a Super Bowl in San Fran. Not saying he's never winning one, just not in San Fran.
That's a good take. I like it.
You're gonna pull Andy Reid.
Probability. It's
I agree with it.
probability wise, I don't think it's that hot. I
Probably not, but I'm
Yeah. And for being honest.
yeah, it's
mean,
not.
think there's a chance, but yeah, no, it's not great.
All right, but I guess with the Super Bowl 58 wrapped up, did you guys have anything else for the game or the halftime performance? I don't know.
That was a zesty halftime performance.
Wait, it is.
That's all I gotta say.
I think Usher was great. That was great halftime performance. I mean, I thought it was better than I expected. A little better than I expected, in my opinion. I like having features and I like others kind of artists show up. So I was kind of disappointed last time when Rihanna didn't have anyone. But again, it's Rihanna, so can't complain too
Yeah,
much.
that's
But
true.
I kind of liked seeing everyone. Got to see Will I Am, um, Alicia Keys, all of them. So I called the Little John one too. I was looking at his songs and I was like, Little John's gonna be there. That's the name. than he was. So I was happy.
I'm just mad that Bieber wasn't gonna
Yeah, it
perform.
wasn't bad.
I would have liked Bieber there, but the thing I'm most mad about is he didn't play what is it, his biggest, like, second biggest song. It was Love in the Club. No, what is it? Oh gosh, it's gonna bother me now. You know what I'm talking about? Usher's song is like, it's like something about love in a club. Love.
Uh,
Sure,
Something, yeah, might be called "Love in This Club." I don't know.
sure,
I know what
it's
song
Yeah,
you're
Love
talking
in This
about.
Club.
Yeah.
Love in This Club. It is called Love in This
sure he
Club.
didn't play
But
it
that
for
was
a
my
quick. No, I can't remember. It was kind of
because that's I saw comments. There were people who were like, "Why didn't he play this song?" Because it's his second biggest song. But that was my only problem with it. I was waiting.
well. We'll find out who's. Oh, you know who's gonna be next year's Taylor Swift.
Really hope not.
Oh boy,
I just played. They ain't compare.
I hope not.
It'll be the first
They need to bring
show I ever
Kanye.
watch. I thought that was Kanye for Will I Am because he
I
had the
know a lot
biggest
of people
crowd
thought it
showing his
was.
face.
Yeah,
And I was like,
a couple
80% of the
people.
time when
Yeah,
someone doesn't show their face, it's Kanye. So,
yeah.
All right, no, that should wrap things up for our Super Bowl reaction video. So make sure to check out our next video for all our off-season topics, predictions, everything that's gonna happen. So again, make sure to check that video out and make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on post notifications. Until next time, shoots.
Boots.